Good morning. Happy Sunday. So I'm going to do my weekly planning, and I have all my things here, and this is going to be pretty close to as real as it gets because all I've done so far today is have my coffee, and I'm going to continue to have that as I set up. So the first things that I wanted to do kind of quick, maybe business, is just show my hone really quickly. So what I'm doing in this is just marking down like workouts that I did and things that I ate, any alcoholic beverages, and then what time I go to bed, just to track kind of those healthy habits. So that's what this is looking like so far. So that's my home. If I get a little bit fancier, maybe I'll bring it. My 5-year. So I tend to keep this by the dinner table or on the coffee table in the living room. But I'm using my Pelican M400 with the Pelican Edelstein Moonstone. And each evening we're spending a few moments as a family and talking about highlights of our day. So that's the hone, or sorry, the 5-year. One thing I will share is in the back, there's a page that says 2023, and it's blank with the exception of a darker line down here and the word bookmark. So what I'm hoping to do is to write the pen and ink combination that I use. If I were to use one per month, that would fit. If I happen to switch it more frequently, I could do that too. So that's the 5-year. Every once in a while I can show that. At some point I'm probably going to want to put some pictures in there. Just get my space a little bit more organized. Now I do have off to the side my laptop so I can check my schedule. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do is open up my day free and update the monthly. So I do have a couple of things that need to be added. This pen is at the end of its ink life. I'm anticipating it to be emptied out today and need to get a refill. Sorry, clean out. I'm not planning on refilling this one. Okay, so I paused because I needed to make sure that I'd covered up anything in here that could have student information. When I was looking at this page, I had some spots that reminded me that I needed to do that. So I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to make sure that this matches what's on my work calendar. So the 16th, no work. And then I have referral review. I no longer have that IEP meeting, yay. So we're gonna put a line through that because that's for the high school. I don't have that setting anymore. So let's see, I have 10:30. Yeah, you can see the ink is very much almost done. I have a tour, 12 o'clock. I have CIA. So when I first started working at this job, I kept getting meeting invites for CIA. And so finally I said, what is that? And it's curriculum instruction and assessment. So I like that. 1 o'clock, I have a tour. And I'm gonna switch pens because this is writing too variably. That is going to bother me. What am I gonna swap it out for? Let's see. Let's go with this one. Okay. Moving on to Wednesday, I have my 6:30 a.m. consult. I have an 11 o'clock meeting. I have a 12:30 tour. And that's it. Good, good. And then Thursday, I have my early morning. Still getting used to writing without being able to get into my comfy position. So that's 6:45. Oh, I guess I don't have to specify that it's middle school anymore. Yay. And then I have an 11:30 team. So it's a student. It's a reconvene. And let's see, we've got the Friday the 20th. I have a 10 o'clock tour. It looks like this 8:30 was canceled, but then I have an 11:45 tour. And I don't believe I have any weekend. Well, sorry, I will have Pay It Forward on the weekends and through playoffs. Now, I mentioned in my last weekly planning, Pay It Forward. So we ended up getting more entries this year than we did last year. So we are continuing our pattern of growth. We beat our record, which is great. We also were able to go from one recipient to two. So each recipient, which is an individual who is battling cancer that does not have any other fundraising in place, they're going to be getting close to $3,000 each. And then for the people participating in the football playoff knockout league, the first place person is going to get a little bit over 700. The second place is a little bit over 300, and the third is a little bit over 100. The reason I say a little bit over is we still have some individuals who haven't paid yet. So we need to receive their payment in order to get definitive numbers. Now my habit tracker, so that is up to date as of yesterday. Yesterday I ended up getting a big stomach issue, so I think I ate gluten. And so when I eat gluten, I get really significant stomach pains, which certainly upset stomach goes along with it. I get full body swelling, fatigue, fevers, just kind of shuts me down. So I ended up getting super shut down yesterday. So I gave myself some grace and allowed myself to not work out and be okay with that. And clearly, because I'm talking about it, I'm not okay with it. So I'm working on that. Anyway, so there's my habit tracker. I've continued to alternate between the two of my Christmas colors, the Ackerman 28 and the Robert Oster Honeybee. Now getting into my weekly task list, I actually did not make a lot of progress on that this week. I ended up prioritizing some other things. So a lot of this will be carrying over. And then I have my dailies from this week. I started out with the Pennsylvania Fieldstone by Birmingham Pen Company. Then I moved on to, this is not Inkabara. What is that one? Is it Vinta? Armada. Yep, Vinta Armada here. That's the Inkybera brown gray. And then I knew that I was close to ending on the Pilot 21K, so I used that yesterday and started planning for today using it, anticipating that it's run out, which it has. So now I'll clean that out today, which because I anticipated it, I actually included a clean fountain pen on here. So getting that set up. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Hopefully my handwriting looks okay. So let's see, we have Monday, that's the 16th. And it's a holiday. Thank you, MLK. Sorry, that was super insensitive. That's a day of remembrance for Martin Luther King, for all of the vision that he had of equality. And he fought that battle. He was wonderful. And let's see there. And we have Tuesday, the 17th. So let's see. 8 o'clock. Referral review. Oh, so much like before, as I write things down, thoughts are going to come to my brain. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. Is it the 23rd or the 24th? 24. So I need to add to my calendar that next Tuesday, myself and the best man are going with the bride and groom to look at the groom and the groomsmen attire, as well as to have dinner at the venue that the wedding will be at, so that we can get a tour of the venue and sample some of the food. Very excited about that. All right, and then we have 10:30 is a tour. It's a big time of the year for referrals. A lot of districts have really worked hard the first half of the year to exhaust all of their internal resources and efforts before determining if the student needs a higher level of care or support. So we tend to get a lot more referrals at this time of year. The next time will be a little surge in March. And then we'll get some at the very end of the year. Those are all the ones that are planning for next year. So we have our 6:30 consult. I have an 11 o'clock student check-in. I'll call it a student team so it fits nicely. $12:30. We have a tour. And that's it. Thursday the 19th, 6:45. Staff meeting. 11:30. It's a team meeting. And Friday the 20th. O'clock we have a tour. At 11:45 I have a tour. Saturday the 21st, I put pay it forward so that I know not to overextend myself on the weekends during the playoff, so that I'm available to work on the charity. Yesterday, my family and I and one of my son's friends went into the city, and we went to a local museum, and the museum had kind of a kid, young adult, hands-on activity to make paper circuits, and so the boys built circuits for close to 2 hours, and literally had to kind of encourage them, prompt them to be done to see the rest of the museum before going to lunch. And I brought my laptop and went off to the side as needed and opened it up, got on their Wi-Fi, and worked on the charity items while there, just to make sure it was nice and smooth. So that's my schedule. Anything that gets added, I do kind of build in a line here to add it in, and then if it's more than one thing, then it will go down in this section right here. And I will migrate over my tasks. It's very likely that I have enough space here to finish out Sunday. However, I don't want to incorrectly make an assumption. Sometimes even when I start setting up the day before, something will happen after I set up that I wish I had made space to note up here. So I'm not going to add in my Monday header yet. I'm going to wait and do that later tonight or tomorrow morning. So for all intents and purposes, this book is done. So I'm going to close this up, and we're going to pull out my cousin. All right, so one thing I did want to add in, just be clear, that's Women Against the Patriarchy. I want to be very clear. All right, so I have this Ollie clip that I got in a cloth and paper subscription box. So I'm going to place that here. So I have my monthly and I have my weekly. So my monthly is all up to date as of yesterday. I'm getting a little low on my Kaveco Student 70s with the Ferris Wheel Press Stroke of Midnight ink. It's getting a little bit low, so I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it through the month with that one. We'll see. I do want to show, I did go in and add in a couple of stickers for last week, so there's that. And then here's this week. So it's up to date as of this morning. I'll note that I'm recording and editing and uploading all those pieces, and we'll continue to go through the day. It's going to be a fairly casual day. I'm actually excited. My my son had his friend that he went to the museum with yesterday. He experienced some bullying throughout his elementary years, and my son last year was incredibly helpful with sticking up for him sometimes, as well as giving him something positive to look forward to at school. And as a mom, I'm exceptionally proud of that. But the parent wants to take him to a local indoor play activity. Gosh, one of those like an Urban Air or Sky Zone, but kind of bigger, a local place that we have that has, I think, go-karts and climbing structures and arcades and lots of different things. I haven't been there, but I've heard great things about it. So she wants to pick my son up today and bring them to this facility as a thank you to my son for being so kind to hers. So I'm very excited about that. And my husband mentioned that while our son is out, perhaps we can go out and get a drink and an appetizer and kind of make a date afternoon of it. So hopefully that's what we're doing. So there's the weekly. And I did want to share this because I've noted a couple of pens. That's wrong. Why did I put that? 1-7. What pen was that? Oh, it was no, because I was able to get more out of it. So this is actually going to be the 14th. Like I said, this is going to be out. So I noted that this pen was empty, and I refilled my Pelikan M400. I refilled that yesterday, and then I'm very close to emptying out the Ferris wheel press Armadillo. I am very close to being done with the Kaveco Student 1970s, and then I'm loving all the rest. So now let's flip through the last week. So last Sunday, I felt I had a very lazy day, and I write what pen I use up here so that if I'm ever like, oh, what's that beautiful ink, I can go back and check. It's the TWSBI Eco, and felt Monday was a very productive day. That was my first day, I think I said this in my last video, that I did not have a single meeting. So I got a lot of things done that day. Tuesday, I went bridal gown shopping, and we went out to this really nice Italian restaurant. Italian restaurants are really difficult for me because they rarely have gluten-free pasta. So I got this really great broiled fish and roasted veggies meal. Oh, so good. Wednesday, so one kind of stressor in my home life is my son, who's about to turn 11, he's a tech kid, very big tech kid. He, video games, computer games, coding, all of that. So he got caught the week before bringing my old phone that doesn't have a phone package, but on Wi-Fi operates like a phone. He brought that to school a couple of days and he got caught. So we had some real tough conversations about that. And, the importance of communication and trust and not being sneaky. And even though he thinks I might say no, it would be okay for him to say, can you think about it? Because if he had asked, I absolutely would have said no. But he provided some rationalization, and I am considering it right now. And it's a very, very hard thing for me to do, but I may have to go against every fiber of my body and allow him to bring that device to school, because what were the cool sneakers in my day is having a device in his day. And I can appreciate how hard that is for him. But So we dealt with that at the end of last week. We're still kind of somewhat dealing with it now, but I did get him to confirm a suspicion that I had that he's on Discord on Wednesday. And so we had another big conversation about that, and we did some research and figured out some parental settings that I would be comfortable if he set those up with him continuing to use it. And we talked about a plan for how to add friends and you know, kind of like the week before, we continue talking about internet safety. And one big thing is I don't want my son feeling like he's going to get screamed at or get in trouble for these very age appropriate explorations. So I'm more so making him have the really hard conversations with me. And I think that's punishment enough to be pushed to do some critical thinking and be solution oriented and collaborate with parents. So that's what I'm trying to do. Anyway, Thursday, I had a couple of students that really had a day. I had one that specifically was on a mission to beat me up because he felt as if I didn't accurately portray the program that he came into. But we worked through that, and I had a couple other kids who got into a fight, and that was not their best moment. Friday was lovely. I got to go off site and do an observation of a student with one of my colleagues, and when we went to this other school, we both previously worked with someone who was at that school, and so it was nice to have a little kind of reunion, if you will. Professionally, my world is small. You run into the same people over and over again. But then after that observation, we went and did a consult at a restaurant and kind of wrapped up our workday, which was different and nice. And then Saturday, like I said, we went to the museum. I got quite ill in the afternoon, which could have been from some wings I had the day before. I didn't. All I asked is if they were battered. I didn't ask about the sauce. That's on me. I don't think it's from what I had for lunch because it was too quick of a reaction. But that one could be, if it is, it's the, I believe it's the barley and the vinegar that some of the veggies in my Cobb salad were soaked in. I respond worse to barley than I do to wheat, which has been really interesting to figure out. So the other thing that I did is I saw, I believe it was Karina Loves to Plan, posted or went through her Hobonichi for a year, and what I really liked about hers is that she had the same ink on a spread, on a 2-page spread, which is not what I've done previously. So I'm going to try that out for a bit. I did it on Thursday, Friday. I'm doing it on Saturday, Sunday. I think the Ferris wheel press brush pen will run out today. So that will get cleaned out along with the Pilot 21K. And we'll try that and see how that looks. So that is my planning for the week of the 16th. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, I appreciate that. Please feel free to leave a comment, or if you have a channel that you'd like for me to check out that has your planning method, please share that. I love watching channels or watching other people plan it. It actually is quite calming for me. So thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.